to check out some Monday Night Raw results here. Shane's running the show again? Nice. Roman. Women's Championship match. Love Natalia. Tag tournament. Alright, let's see who's... Gallows and Anderson. Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here. Yeah, and if you know my channel, I'm not in the habit of doing Monday Night Raw reviews. It's, I had I've got the mindset that everybody and their uncle does Raw reviews. So, within the last year, I've been like, okay, that's something I'm not going to do because everybody does it. But coming out of WrestleMania, we've had some really good stuff. We've had... as upsetting as Mania was for me, and I'm not going to rehash it. I'm just going to say that what we've gotten so far out of Raw has been refreshing, new, it's exciting, and I just hope that whoever's doing this, because, people, oh God, thank God for Shane, Shane's running the show. Okay. Shane is a great part of this, don't get me wrong, but he's a very small piece in the puzzle. Well, it's a matter of opinion. Because, okay, Shane's not right in this. Spoiler alert. No, don't get me wrong. I love seeing Shane. But whoever is booking this, excuse me, in my opinion, is doing a great job. So yeah, I'm not gonna nitpick everything here, but let's just go over some of these things here. I mean, you started out with, Shane, it was, due to, tremendous media response, or however they worded it, we're bringing Shane McMahon back. And you didn't see Vince at all. So, Shane comes out and gets in a confrontation with Kevin Owens. That right there, you're not dealing with half-hour authority segments, which everyone and their uncle has been tired of for the last... since the Yes movement started, for crying out loud. Since Daniel Bryan started all this, and his run through, whatever, a couple WrestleManias ago, when he had his moment. Was it 30? It was 30. And ever since his battle with the Authority has still been on top. So the fact that we've got Shane in there now, I mean, I have no doubt that we're going to certainly see, I'm sure we're going to see trips and stuff again. But I don't I hope it's not anytime soon because this is great. This is great stuff right here. So yeah, Shane McMahon's out there with Kevin Owens. That was a great segment. And then Cesaro is out there with Owens. They're fighting for the number one to be the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. And Shane's not taking any shit from Kevin. This is just great. But that whole first segment was priceless. It was really refreshing to see that. Cesaro's our new number one contender. And I hope... Now, I haven't read anything yet today. When Cesaro was in that match, he had the tape on his arm. And that made me nervous. That made me feel like, okay, is he better? Did they rush this? Is that preliminary? I don't know why they put all the black tape on the shoulders. I know it has to do with injury stuff or maybe preventing injury. I don't know. I was seeing that on there is like, and in fact, I think they even said this during the match. They said, when you see that becomes like a target. That's like a big bullseye. So, I hope Cesaro is actually okay. Hopefully he did it just to get which he doesn't need help getting the babyface reaction, but, it's all psychological. So hopefully that's not even an issue. Same thing with, and I know I'm jumping around here, same thing with Kalisto. When Kalisto and Sin Cara were in their match with, Dudley Boys. That is actually the next thing here. Dudley Boys beat them. Kalisto was outside the ring, and there's been some things floating around that he was outside the ring and that doctors were attending to him. It's like, oh my God, hopefully not. I'd have to go back and look at the segment again as far as what all transpired, but hopefully it was just to help with Dudley Boys getting the win. Which, if Kalisto is your United States champ, you need to separate him from Sin Cara. Seriously. And in saying that, it just popped in my head. Maybe they did this to get the Dudley Boys going in this tag tournament, because obviously they're going to meet Enzo and Big Cass down the road here in about a half a second. And which that was great too. I love watching these guys go back and forth, and it hasn't even been a week, and these guys are already $1 million to me, in my opinion. What I would like to see is to see Sin Cara turn on Kalisto and have that be for the United States Championship. Then boom, you don't even have to have a whole tournament to see who's the number one contender. Just boom, the tag team's done, split them up. I mean, people love the Lucha Dragons, but let's put the focus on Kalisto. He's the champ going forward for however long. And Sin Cara and Kalisto can knock it out of the park. I mean, Kalisto is already wearing black half the time, so that just makes him look like a heel right there. So, that I'd like to see that. League of Booty comes out and confronts Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, I'm not the bad guy. I'm not the good guy. I'm not the guy, or I'm not the guy. I'm not a guy. What? No, he reiterated his shtick from last week, which I like. It's not It's not babyface. It's not heel. It's he's walking that fine line right now, where you're like, oh, he's still a good guy. He's just cocky. No, he's turning heel. Well, I don't know. We just gotta wait and see. I know everybody and their uncle that I see on the internet wants him to become heel. I think he should be heel. And I said this before. That whole, when they were interviewing people walking into Mania, and he was cocky and he was confident, that's the Roman I want to see going forward. And he doesn't have to say a 15-minute promo. Come out there, say a couple things. I'm the guy. Boom. It's simple. It's cocky. It's what it is. It's what he should be. And then the the Wyatt family comes out and saves him, and that turns into what we have for the main event, which was, I gotta say, it was good, but it was awkward as hell. Everyone's like, oh yeah, well, you should make the Wyatt family the top heel. Well, now they're teaming with Roman, who is supposed to be a babyface, going against the League of Booty. Oh, Jason, it's League of Nations. No, it's their booty. They'll never get over that. So yeah, this whole thing, it's so new and it's so fresh, and that's what made it awkward for me. It's seeing Bray Wyatt later tagging with Roman against Sheamus and who was it? Rio? Yeah. And Rusev was on the outside. Is that how it was? It was 2-on-2. It looked like it was supposed to be a handicap, but it wasn't. Why they didn't have anyways. Seeing Wyatt out there and getting cheered in the main event, that was that was so weird. And then and I thought we were going to have a women's championship a few weeks from now, because they just made this feud between Natalya and Charlotte. So I thought they were going to build this up to what is the next one? Payback? I think it's Payback. And they actually put the women's championship on last night. So really strange. Felt weird, but it was still great. They put on a great match. It's a great way to introduce the whole women's championship thing. It gave it I don't know. It gave it a different feel. Charlotte, of course. Oh, and they threw Dr. Phil in this, which here's how I felt about Dr. Phil. If my thinking going into this was like, okay, Dr. Phil's going to be there. If they're putting Dr. Phil in there, I hope it's not in any of the major storylines. It's got to be comedy related. My first thought was, okay, put him with Goldust and R-Truth, working out their little romance issues or whatever. Those have been some cute segments. You're using that word "cute" again. It's funny, whatever, humorous. They're funny segments. You gotta have something. Well, you don't gotta. It helps to have those in there, and that's what they are. They are the comic relief right now for Raw. Is R-Truth and Goldust, and But they used Dr. Phil for the whole backstage thing between, the psychology between Charlotte and Rick. I hope they don't bring Dr. Phil back next week. It made me think about the doc that was used in the whole Hell No thing. That was funny. I think that'd be funny if they brought him back once in a while. But he hasn't been around for a few years. So, and I don't see him coming back. Although I wouldn't mind it. He was pretty good. Because I love Team Hell No. That was one of those that back when that first started, I could not stand the concept. The oddest thing in the world. And then I ended up loving it. So, whatever. Back to Raw. So they use him in the whole Charlotte / Flair stuff, and and that's as much as I wanted him there. I didn't want him in the main event, nothing like that. That was fine, and I don't really even know why he was there. I didn't hear them saying, "Oh, and by the way, he has a new book out." He didn't have anything to plug, and if they did, I missed it. But whatever, no big loss. I don't watch him. I don't watch him unless my wife is watching him, and I'm walking through the room going, "Oh, Dr. Phil's on," and I'll stop for a second just to see what drama is unfolding, and then I'll keep going. I never sit down and, "Ooh, let's turn on the Oprah Network." So, and then we have the tag tournament continuing. The Social Outcasts, which is Slater and Axel versus the Usos. And, sponsored by Bootios. That's hilarious. And this was really, I like the Usos, and I would have paid more attention to this, but I really could give a crap about Axel and Slater. So I really didn't pay attention, and then all of a sudden I'm Raw's on in front of me. I'm looking at my phone, and I'm in a Twitch chat with the guys from the podcast, and all of a sudden I think I was probably about 20 seconds behind. Not much, just enough. And all of a sudden, one of the guys in the Twitch chat went, "What?" or "Holy shit," or something like that in the Twitch chat, and I was like, I'm reading it, and as I'm reading it, I hear everybody losing their minds. I look up, and here's Carl and Anderson. Oh my God, more coffee. Anderson and Gallows in a ring jumping the Usos, and I instantly jumped to the edge of my seat, throwing out my back again. Lovely. It's in a lot of pain in the first place, so that didn't help. So thank you, Gallows and Anderson. My back feels like $1 million now, thanks to you. We've been waiting for this. Some of my friends are not as excited about this as I am. I met these guys twice within the last year, and just, it's different when you meet them and you get that one-on-one with them and you're talking with them, even if it's for a short period of time, and they're cool with you, that does something. That's like, then that adds something to your like towards them, the hype behind them, when you start hearing a buzz for it, that makes you even more excited for that buzz. That's what that did for me. And seeing them up in Global Force Wrestling last year, that was great. And met them up there, met them in was it late January? It was a few months ago at a local thing, Brew City Wrestling. Met them there again, and told them, gave him a wink, said congratulations, because we knew what was happening. Well, at least we assumed we knew what was happening. They were, WWE put it out there that they were free agents, So you knew they were just, trying to figure out when, pre-Mania, at Mania, after Mania, whatever. We knew it was soon. So then, NXT Dallas happened. They didn't show up for Balor. Okay, maybe they'll show up at Mania. Mania happened. No comment. The Monday night after happened, and they still weren't there. So it's like, but then, AJ Styles became the new number one contender. Then everybody's head is really, spinning it. Like, oh, well, maybe if they're going to show up and help him win, or who knows? I think everybody assumed that they were just going to show up at Payback. So then, thinking that, then all of a sudden they start this tag tournament, and boom, they hit the ring, start kicking ass, and it was a nice surprise. I think that was cool how they did it, because they didn't announce it. They didn't say, by the way, next week, Bulletproof is going to show up, and they didn't say who they were. Let me rewind that. They said Gallows and, Gallows and, did they say Gallows and Anderson? I gotta go back. They were like, oh, our sources said they were here, blah, 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 whatever. It was what it was. Thank you, JBL and Michael Cole, for really trying not to make that sound awkward as shit. They could have said, Gallows and Anderson, oh my God. They could have just kept it, boom, let that, and then just let it play out the next 5 minutes or whatever it was. Sometimes they just don't know when to shut up. They overdo it. Our sources said that they were going to be in the parking lot and getting out of the car and hiding, and they were backstage, and then they were in the closet, and then they came out of the closet. Shut up. Let it play out. Anyways, so congratulations to Anderson and Gallows. Extremely happy about this, and I'm sure we're going to see more and more of that in the upcoming weeks. And I hope it's a simmer. I don't want it to boom, huge, blow up. I want it to take shape slowly. I'm sure it'll all come together at the pay-per-view. I have absolutely no doubt. And if it doesn't, I'd be very shocked. But, I'm happy about this. I'm sure they're going to be put in the tag tournament somehow. And I hope they kick ass. I'll be really curious to see what the ring gear is going to be like. As odd as that sounds. When they were in New Japan, and when we came here to Milwaukee, they had some badass ring gear on. The white and black stuff, it was mostly white. And then the not capes. Like shiny trench coats with the big ass hoods, It was cool. It's like their New Japan gear. Looked cool. I'm sure they're gonna get new stuff. But nonetheless, it looked great. Then, and if we couldn't get more excited about that, we get to see if Sami Zayn is going to be another number one contender and make it a three-way between AJ Styles, Zayn, and Roman Reigns. Oh my God. So, at the beginning of the night, you get, Owens and Cesaro. Right there is like, oh my God. Now we got Zayn and AJ Styles. Holy shit. Great match. So much fun to watch these guys. Of course, unfortunately, I would have loved to seen Zayn in there too. But, we can't throw everyone that we love in there. So, it's alright. It's still, I'm sure they're still going to find something for Zayn going into Payback. They got a few weeks left. So it's going to stay Styles and Roman Reigns. For now, that's what it looks like. Then we got coming out of SmackDown. We get that when and I like that they're continuing this story when Ambrose won his match against Breeze and was walking up the ramp. Then all of a sudden, Jericho's music hits, and they had that moment where they passed each other, and it's like, oh, let's keep that going. Keep that going, because that's what I think a lot of us, including me, wanted for Mania. They wanted that continuation of Ambrose and Jericho. Well, now we're getting it. And it starts out where they're canceling the highlight reel and starting the Ambrose Asylum. I love Ambrose. You know this. You know my channel. You know I love Ambrose. He's one of my favorites. I don't know how I feel yet about making an actual segment out there where he's interviewing people. Now, granted, this was very funny, and I loved it. But I don't know if I want to see a regular thing of the Ambrose Asylum. I don't want them making him into another Christian or something, trying to, I don't know. What do you think? Put it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. I don't know how I feel about this. I love Ambrose. I love his in-ring shtick. His stuff on the mic is great. But I don't know if I want to see a whole segment dedicated to it. Let me know what you think. But yeah, this is the beginning of the Chris Jericho-Dean Ambrose feud. I can't wait to see these two tear it up. I don't know where else to go from there. I love it. I love it. Apollo Crews defeats Adam Rose. No surprise there. I really like I like Adam Rose, but I like Apollo Crews. I see nothing but great things for him. And this is going to be interesting to see what kind of role he stays on. He's got nice pops from the crowd. LA was nice to him. And then we get the main event. Reigns and Wyatt versus Sheamus and Rio. And then, it ends up with the three guys of the Wyatt family after Wyatt gets a win. And Wyatt getting cheered. Like I said earlier, that was so weird. And he was like, he does that thing where he's in the corner and he's stomping his foot and he's like, telling people, come on, I want to hear you. Almost kind of like that's like his Hulk up moment. And he, it got the crowd fired up. Like, I don't remember hearing the crowd fired up for Wyatt before, with the exception of the time where he faced off with Triple H, and Triple H was champ a few weeks before Mania, or whenever that was. So what does that mean? Are they going to turn this into Wyatt versus Reigns versus AJ Styles? I don't know. They've got a few weeks left. What else are they going to do with Wyatt? Maybe, I understand this is probably supposed to be all about turning Wyatt babyface, but, Reigns is supposed to be the babyface. People are still cheering him. There's a lot of people booing him. It's just, the whole thing is just kind of awkward to me. So yeah, if you got any thoughts on that, put it in the comments below. I'd love to see what you think about that. Well, I went on long enough with this. All I'm saying is it was a great Raw, some great segments, some fresh and exciting stuff. I hope they keep this going. I really hope they keep Shane, because he just brings a breath of fresh air with everything else along with him. Everyone says, I'm trying to get out of saying the Bullet Club, because they're not the Bullet Club. They can't say that. What was interesting, though, is when Anderson and Gallows left the ring, Gallows went like this, and then they knocked hands like this. So that tells me that they're going to go forward with the whole bulletproof thing. So, yeah, I can't wait to see what's next. Very excited about that. Good Raw. A good solid Raw. Wasn't perfect, but everything felt like it flowed. Seemed like every segment, in a sense, almost every segment had some kind of meaning. It wasn't just pointless stuff out there. Everything had a purpose. And that's what they got to do. Consistent writing. Don't make this is one of the things that we were talking about on Twitter. In the Twitter chat, me and the guys, saying that every Raw feels like its own stale product, and the next Raw doesn't mean anything. They gotta keep this going now. People want to see that. Continuous, meaningful storylines, rivalries. Not just a bunch, and that's one of the things that I think Ring of Honor could really use. They have tremendous wrestling. For your pure wrestling fans, it's great stuff. Not knocking their wrestling talent. But their week-to-week stuff, some of their stuff is just thrown out there, and as entertaining as it is, it has no meaning behind it. It's like, oh, you got this great tag team against this great tag team. That's awesome. Why? So, whatever. Great Raw. Can't wait to see what it is. What it is. Can't wait to see what happens next week. Thanks. See you next time.